What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. We are your hosts, Chase and Miles, and we are at the Lucky Duck. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Really got a great show for you. Excited to present our next guest. Speaking of which, Miles, who do we have sitting across the table from us?
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have on my all-time favorite guest. We had her on during season 1 all the way back in episode 12. She's an eye doctor and the CEO of Adventuring Eyes LLC, a travel photography and content creation company. Her hobbies include adventure travel, photography, reading, and the occasional wine and cheese board. She's married to, and I'll quote Chase here, the best looking guy I know.
That's wrong.
Please welcome my wife, Sarah.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Uh,
What episode number is this?
This, I believe, is 34.
Oh, wow. That's
34.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
What episode number were you on?
You
'Cause
said
we had
12.
Oh, 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
12.
we were just talking about how high tech everything is now. So happy to be back.
You know, we had a couple of upgrades.
Look, go watch episode 1 and then come back to me and tell me if we're better or not.
we had, you know, my philosophy from the start was always just to like just do it.
Yeah.
And like not try to over perfect things
Yeah.
at the very beginning, because if you try to do that, you get exhausted
gosh.
and then you just completely
Yeah.
get disinterested.
And that's literally like how people become successful, is like just like by fucking up over and over
Yeah.
and over.
Failures.
Yeah.
But
you
before
guys did pretty good, like from the beginning. But you're
Oh,
definitely
thank
way
you.
better now.
Aww.
Thank you. Kind words.
feel like
Yeah.
she's
You're not just saying that
No,
because you're
I
married
listened
to
to,
one of the
I
hosts.
listened to the
Yeah.
podcast to fall asleep. So then, like, I'm
Okay,
probably like
good.
a lot of your views, because then, like, I'll fall asleep and listen to it the next
Whoa,
night and then
whoa.
the next night.
I'm glad that you choose us to fall asleep to. Miles does have a really
Yeah.
soothing voice. I feel like you could be on that Calm app.
Yeah,
You read some bedtime stories.
I could.
Yeah, when
I-
he doesn't feel like reading me one, then I listen to the podcast.
I should quit my job and do that.
Yeah, you should. Let's give a good cheers to start
Oh,
out the
yeah, I'm
episode.
excited to
What
try
is
it.
this?
Wait, what are we drinking, Sarah?
That's a great question. Wait, let's drink it first.
Okay, all right. Let's give it a
You
try
have to
here.
guess.
It's got
This is so good. So, it's a Paloma,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
You could tell just from sipping.
Fresh squeezed grapefruit juice and lemon juice,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Lime.
yum- oh,
lime juice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
tequila.
have tequila, grapefruit juice, lime juice, and soda.
Yum.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's great. Now this is a really attractive looking drink.
Yeah.
It's got a nice
So
gradient
cute.
and I was surprised that you don't actually shake or mix these. You
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you just pour the ingredients in, which gives it that nice gradient effect. So you have the grapefruit and the tequila at the bottom, with the lime juice in the middle, and then you have that club soda to finish it off.
Interesting. Is
So-
that all Palomas? I had no idea.
Most, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of different ways. This is a recipe I remixed, and it actually originated on the Masterclass
Oh,
website.
wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't know that,
So
but
yummy.
Masterclass has recipes that you don't have to pay for. You can just kind of Google, and this was one of them that popped up. So,
Cool.
garnished with a lime or a grapefruit. We chose the lime because I don't know, grapefruit's kind of hard. Is a hard
And
garnish.
it's cuter.
Yeah, it does have the green texture
the
contrasts.
contrast. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
with the great. Yeah,
Good job.
so
Yeah, it's good. I think
little
that's
salted rum.
standard Paloma. We had a spicy one time when we were traveling, and it was one of those drinks that was like too spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
Like
is
you
kinda,
couldn't taste
kinda
any
rare.
flavors except spice.
Yeah.
just all came through was just heat.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just burn your mouth.
Yeah, I was telling you guys before we started, like I haven't had a drink yet that I've deemed too spicy
Yeah.
to drink, and so you guys brought over a really cool liquor that,
That
I've
one
never
might
heard
be
of.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
'Cause your
excited.
face, you,
yeah,
You got that.
it was pretty spicy.
yeah.
I feel like if you
If you
put
mix it,
a
it's
put a
better,
mixer
probably.
in,
Yeah.
then it'll probably be okay. But it's called Mule Kick, and it's from the Glacier Distilling
Yep.
Company. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty cool
Yeah.
stuff. Shout
Yeah,
out
they
to
have a
them.
lot of distilleries up there, surprisingly.
Really?
But I guess it's because, I don't know, the glacier water, maybe? I don't know.
Ooh, good point.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, that was kind of like when we were in Bend, Oregon. They have,
Oh,
I think it used to be, or it is, the most breweries per capita there, which there's not that many people who live around there. I mean, it's a pretty big town, but there's a ton of breweries. And we heard, whether this is true or not, that their water is like one of the cleanest water sources in the U.S.
Oh wow.
And
That's
why,
what it was,
that's
right?
why they have a bunch of breweries
Yeah,
there.
so they don't have to like treat the water or anything like
don't have
that.
to,
It's
like,
really
filter
cheap.
it out. Yeah.
So it's really good water.
That's
for
one thing I
brewing.
learned. That like for instance, like filtering raw water is kind of like an ordeal that you don't really think about.
Yeah.
And Starbucks actually that's one of their big obstacles when they move to different cities or open up in new markets. At least back in the day when they were expanding like crazy. Basically, is like if they moved to Chicago or like Flint, Michigan or whatever, like they would have to they would have to adjust their filtration to get the water quality to the standard that customers would notice like the difference. And so
crazy.
they would have to stack like 4 filters, in some cases like tons of filters, in order to get the quality of the water to what they need it to be.
It's probably a lot more expensive too.
Yeah.
That's
Not all
crazy.
water is
I know.
equal.
Well, when we were in Iceland, we drank water like straight from the glacier, and you could just like drink from any water source there. Like we would just
nice.
like come across a river and just like fill up our water bottle. It was so cool to be able to do that, because you could never do that here.
Were you afraid at all? Like you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I know this is fresh, but like
Well,
also
not really, because like every single person we met told us that we could do that
really?
and to
Yeah.
do it. So not really.
Yeah.
But-
Have you noticed a drop in IQ since?
Honestly, yeah.
But also,
Probably.
I was a little nervous because some of the places we filled it up, it wasn't
was
like
brown.
crystal
Yeah,
clear.
it was brown.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Yeah.
So-
it looks crystal clear when it's on in like a little pond, but when you actually
Right.
get a sample of it, you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
there's like
You
stuff
see
in
all
it.
the sand and stuff floating in there, and it did taste a little sandy. So
Yeah.
I think when we were on the glacier trying the water,
It was, yeah.
that's when
There's
it
a
was like
difference.
it basically just didn't taste like
But it's still
anything.
safe to do it from any water source.
Yeah, that's what
there.
they say.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried any of like the like little mini filters that like REI
No.
sells, like the little straw? The
Actually,
UV
yeah, we
thing,
did.
or-
We have tried. I don't remember what brand it was, but we've tried it.
Yeah,
Remember?
we had a friend who has one where it's a water bottle, and I want to say you pull out the canister in it,
It's like with
and
pressure.
then you fill it up the water, and then you put the bottle or the canister
Yeah.
back in, and then it somehow filters the water after a few minutes, and it was good. He filled up from some random water source, and then we drank from it, and it just tasted like tasteless water.
Yeah, I think we would get one if we did more backpacking,
Yeah.
because
It's-
they're definitely useful to have.
I
Yeah.
feel like I wouldn't. I mean, it's just kind of a pain, but it's also a pain to carry water.
Yeah.
Water's super heavy.
Mhm.
For instance, we went biking this past weekend, and we took a big backpack with us because we were going to be gone a little over half the day. And after I put water in our camelback, and then we had a water bottle on top of that, then the backpack was super heavy.
Whoa.
So to be able to have, I mean, you also need a water source too. So there's that. But to be able to have something where you could refill the water along your route, then it's super convenient.
Well, we were just with people this weekend who said that they were hiking in Glacier like last summer, and they didn't bring enough water, and their hike ended up being like 18 miles instead of like 14 or 15, and they just had a drink from like a random waterfall,
no.
and they were like worried they were gonna get sick, but
Yeah.
they didn't. So
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, I know.
That shit can like kill you if you don't
I
be
know,
careful
yeah.
about where you get your water from.
even
For
like in
sure.
Thailand, you can't drink water.
Mhm.
You know, like you can't
Literally.
even wash vegetables with it or anything. So that's why a lot of people get sick there.
It's like back in the day, in medieval times or whatever, when they all were just drinking
Yeah,
straight
there's a lot of
booze.
places that you can't drink water. I think people take it for
Mexico.
granted. Yeah.
Yeah. Mexico is one of them you hear that's like almost like guarantee you get diarrhea after
Yeah.
you drink their water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you just don't. Like
Yeah.
in Thailand,
Yeah.
I think it is a guarantee.
Yeah.
But I think the people there can drink it, right?
Because they're just like totally used to.
They can probably wash vegetables and stuff in it. I don't think they drink it from
Drink
the
it because
tap.
yeah.
no.
But I think they won't get as sick as often because I think their bodies have adapted to it or something
Yeah.
like that.
just like imagine Yeah, I guess there's a resiliency to like. I wonder if that's something you are born with, just
Right.
from like it's a genetic standpoint, or is that something that you have to like adapt to as
Develop.
you get
Yeah.
older? You know,
Yeah.
you're not just like born with it.
Because I guess it's the bacteria, right? And then
Yep.
the population becomes resistant, immune to it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
immune. Yeah.
I don't know.
Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
So last time we had you on, you didn't have this successful Instagram
Yeah.
slash blog,
Yeah.
travel blog. So tell me about that. Like what inspired you to do that? And like it's incredible.
Yeah.
I gotta say I am impressed with how far you guys have taken it.
Thanks.
And
Yeah, it's happened really quickly.
well, kind of, but also not really. You know,
Yeah.
like
It's been less than a year.
Yeah, and I know how hard you work on this.
Yeah.
And it certainly is no just like I feel like that's probably a pretty common misconception.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
I could talk about misconceptions like we wouldn't even have time on this podcast.
Well, let's go through a few.
Yeah, well, because I had no idea what it entailed before I started, but it's just like this whole industry. I think I saw it's a $4 billion industry in 2022.
Wow.
The influencer marketing.
4 billion.
Yeah, worldwide or in the U.S. I don't remember what the statistic was, but it was like insane. But yeah, so I started an Instagram just because me and Miles, we've always traveled a lot. And I am crazy about research and planning. So I had all these Google Docs with tons of itineraries just for our personal use. And then I realized like most people don't like planning trips like I do. I think it's so fun. So I was like, why not share it? And then we also got a camera a year ago. Which is something that I've been wanting to do forever. And I don't know, we just got really into it. So we started sharing our photos with our itineraries and people loved it. And now I think we have like almost 30,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, but it's happened really quickly because like in January is when I think we had 2,000 followers like for the first 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then in January we like went from like 2,000 to like 10,000. And then like since then it's just been like crazy.
Yeah,
So
because I think at the beginning,
it's really hard at the
yeah,
beginning.
and we probably had this idea. Well, we have a lot of really cool pictures that we take that we've always taken. Sarah's always been really into
just like with phone
photography
Yeah.
and just setting up the shot. And so we've always spent a lot of time taking those pictures. So we've had them in our kind of like our bank of photographs.
True.
And then those itineraries. And so it was like, well, how else can you get started than to just start posting, kind of like how we just start talking on the podcast. And that was super slow. And you were posting, was it like a couple times a week at first?
I think like maybe 3-4 times a week.
And it was mostly just images.
Yeah. And I think like you said, like I just like there's a quote like you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Like I literally just started and I just started posting and it was like not great, but now looking back, but it like just built up. And now I have like, I think we said like Adidas wants to work with us and stuff.
Wow.
So just crazy. Like the progression has been wild.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if the more followers you have, the more like engagement potential that you have, and then the algorithm thinks you're popular, and they want to show you to other.
But also
people
just like the editing, like I like re-edit pictures and post them, like same ones that I like took a long time ago, and it's like so different too.
Yeah,
I'll show you some like comparisons, but yeah, so I think everything has just been like, growing over time.
And we've learned a lot about how all that works too. So like you said, for around the first 6 months, we were around 2,000 followers or so, which is actually a good amount for someone who has a very specific niche, which for ours is basically adventure travel, but kind of more specifically like couple adventure travel. We don't post just about that, so there's other people may like our Instagram for more than that, but we had a very strong group of followers, and we would get a lot of engagement from them. We still do, but we would get a lot of engagement just from those people because
it's like a community.
It's a small audience, right? You can talk to almost all of them rather than having 10,000, 20,000, 30,000,
Well,
100,000.
And
Yeah.
when I started, I just started because I wanted to share like what our photos and our itineraries. But then I realized, like, from a marketing standpoint, that having a group, like a small niche, people who are all interested in the same thing and who trust you, like, that's like really valuable with marketing. So then, like, there's people on Instagram who have like 5,000 followers who are making like 4-figure brand deals, like, just because all of those followers are really engaged with them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's like, you don't need that many followers to make money off of it. And I started realizing that once like brands started reaching out to us, and then I like bought a course about like the industry essentially.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, you kind of
like,
need like a mentor.
yeah,
right?
like there's just so much that goes into it. Like, especially like I didn't have any kind of like marketing or photography background, but like a lot of brands will try to take advantage of smaller creators because they know that they can, like, they don't know any better.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of learning because I didn't want that. And I still get really annoyed with brands when they try to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just like try to rip you off or take
Yeah,
advantage
yeah.
of you. Yeah.
Because like it doesn't matter if you have like 100,000 followers or like 5,000. Like, if your picture is going to make the brand money, it's worth the same amount, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that I think Sarah, I think, understood a lot more because she had been on Instagram for a while, and she watches or engages with a lot of different YouTubers and Instagrammers and whatnot. And but what you're worth to a brand is incredible.
Yeah.
To think about, for instance, if just to name a car company that makes like trucks or outdoor vehicles, if they want to get a picture out in a really cool place out in the desert or something, they have to usually get permits, they have to get models, a bunch of equipment, professional photographers. It may cost them $100,000 just to go do that shoot.
Yeah.
And then there's the advertising on top of that.
Yeah.
And they're usually just advertising to kind of like a somewhat targeted audience because social media has all that statistics on people, but it's still not as good as getting an actual influencer or content creators audience. And so if they're going to pay you a couple $1,000s to post an
It's
insanely
way
cool
cheaper
picture, yeah,
for them.
it's incredible. Yeah, it's super cheap
Mm-hmm.
because they're already getting the content and they're getting the advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I think it made a whole lot of sense to me when I didn't realize you were posting itineraries, and then when I found out, I was like, that makes a lot of sense because I've more and more been, if I want to learn more something about like maybe like New York restaurants, I'll just type that into like
Right.
TikTok or something, and then you have like, oh, here's the 5 best this and
Yeah.
this, and it's like just like curated recommendations, and I didn't have
Exactly.
to do any kind of
Yeah.
old school research or legacy research, which is like before the internet. It was like, you know, there was like the travel guides that you could buy, those little books, and then now there's Google and like different like even like places like TripAdvisor and like USA Today 10 best lists. Those are starting to fade away as well,
Yeah.
because now people are just going straight to social media and then
Yeah.
relying on the opinions of like content creators or other like
Right.
not freelance, but what's the, I guess like
Bloggers.
independent journalists
Yeah.
and bloggers and
Yeah,
things
and
like
that's what I mean. I used to post a lot more stuff when I first started, but then I realized that like my itineraries did amazing, and I like posting those the most too.
Yeah.
Because I put a lot of thought into our trips, and I think like they're kind of real too. Like, you never know on Google, like, is this sponsored by like, you know, like I don't know. And
That,
Google,
or it's just random people
Right.
rating it versus
Yeah.
people you may have
Yeah.
like, stronger interest with.
Yeah, I mean,
And you can
there's
ask
still that
questions,
on
too.
there's still that on
Yeah.
like social media.
It's
Like,
true.
I don't know who paid this guy to put together
That's
this
true.
5 best restaurants.
right?
And
We don't actually do
you know.
any best posts, like unless like it's about Colorado or somewhere we've lived, because a lot of people do that because it does well, but like I'm like, I don't know what the best, like, I went here for one weekend. Like, here's what I did, you know?
More like our favorite things.
Yeah.
Also,
So,
you
and then that's what
haven't
I say
been,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes,
but like,
your
so
favorite
I'll
that
be
you've
like,
been
here's
so far.
what I'll do is I'll just be like, here's an itinerary, like what we did, or I'll be like a bucket list, like here, add this to your bucket list for this place. But I like never write like best unless it's somewhere I lived, because I don't feel qualified for that.
You're like, not an expert yet.
Yeah. Well, on the place, you know what I mean? Like if I
totally.
visited for a weekend, like who am I to say what the best is?
You're just
Like,
trying to document your
but people do that
experiences.
all the time because it does well. Like it's just like one of those buzzwords.
Right.
But
Yeah.
And that's why places like these huge national parks and other, I mean, you can go to a town or a state and they might be state parks or smaller parks that are incredible, or like national monuments that are incredible, but they have a much smaller amount of people that go there because everyone's kind of focusing on like the best places.
yeah.
So how much of like you understanding? So your main outlet is Instagram,
Yeah.
and that's like kind of your bread and butter.
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty much like all I'm doing right now. I have a photography website which I'll send to brands.
And that's
'cause-
adventuringeyes.com.
Yeah, so we'll do product photography for brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't updated it in a while.
That's
but,
okay. I'm sure it looks fine.
yeah, none of my product photography is on there, but my like destination photography. But our big thing that we love to do and we want to mainly do is work with tourism boards. So they like basically pay us to visit a place, take photos, promote their place. But it just feels like more natural because that's like less promoting a product and more promoting like a place, which we do anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what our goal is.
So
blog too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
So
I just started a blog, so there's like 2 posts.
So how much of your understanding, because there's a little bit of like trying to understand the algorithm, because that drives everything,
I'm kind of
right?
like a nerd about the algorithm, and I think that's why I've done well because I'm very good at recognizing patterns. So I like know how to grow. Like I could teach anybody how to grow on Instagram if they're willing to put in the work.
Yeah. And how much
and
of
have
that?
like decent content, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But it doesn't
obviously
have
you
to be as good as you
yeah.
think either.
Right,
Like
yeah.
it's like a little trick, and there's always gonna be things that like don't follow the pattern, but there definitely is patterns.
Yeah.
Are patterns. Yeah.
Now, how much of that did you pick up on, and how much of it did like maybe listening to other content creators?
Yeah.
I know you like said you like did like a Patreon or whatever for like a mentor.
Yeah, I would say the algorithm like has been a lot of me. I just learned this term like A/B testing. Like I didn't know that was like what that, but I do that naturally. So like I'll like repurpose content, change like one thing, and see what does better. A lot. So the algorithm was a lot me. I would say I do listen to some podcasts, but it's more so about like working with brands and things. Like they don't. I think no one like there's certain like pillars that everybody knows like. Shareable and savable content does best because Instagram will push it if they save it a lot.
So those itineraries are very savable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there are certain things like that work for some accounts and not others too. So I think it's a lot of like I'm just good at recognizing what does well and testing different things.
So you're spending quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
How much time are we talking about here?
So I batch content now. So like I'll like sit down on a Sunday for like 2 to 3 hours and make like all my reels for the week. And then just throughout the week, then I'll just post them and like engage. So I could spend less, but honestly, I just like get caught up like in talking to people and stuff. So I don't know, like if I had to quantify it, maybe like,
I mean, engaging is a lot of it.
like
because
for keeping relationships with people.
There's that. And then
and replying to comments because we get like so many like comments and DMs and stuff. That's like a
and is that feeding the algorithm a little bit when you're engaging and commenting?
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh.
It's also like helping your just like if you reply to someone, they're going to want to comment again and like then you get to know them. So actually I've made like a ton of friends that way just by like engaging with other accounts.
You're also building that trust there. So now people, if you're talking to someone answers your question.
Like
they think you're there for more than just posting something and going away.
Which I am. Like I want to help people and I get DMs and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for responding." And I'm like, no problem.
No, that's awesome. Have you noticed like the algorithm change at all?
Oh my gosh,
Is that something that's scary to you? You're like, oh fuck. I put on this work
there
to
was
understand
literally-
this, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
the developer's like, click,
Yeah.
and all of a
Literally
sudden,
on January 26th, they did that. I will never forget the day
Yeah.
that they did that because
Yeah.
I'm sure you know that TikTok is like huge and Instagram is trying to be TikTok, which is annoying.
Sure. Yeah. Can you
Um,
blame them though?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess they just want to make money, but
They got to keep people on their platform,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
right. But I've embraced Reels. I like making them now.
Oh, that's what they're pushing?
Like I don't even post photos anymore. Really,
Yeah,
it's
right.
crazy.
What we do, I mean,
We do, but it's not our focus.
yeah. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I think first started driving a little bit of our follower increase was that Sarah started posting more content more often.
Yeah.
But that still was kind of like trickling, so we'd get more followers, and you'll see a lot of people who only post images may have 900 posts and their follower count is still pretty low because it's really, really hard to grow that way. And a lot of the things that I think people used to get followers for, like if a brand reposts you or if another account
Yeah.
reposts you, doesn't really help that much
So,
anymore.
It's
I'll give you an
interesting.
example. So, just to tell you how many people I reached this month from Reels versus photos. If I can figure out how
And
to find
Instagram
out.
has a pretty cool like analytic
yeah,
tool where you can look
yeah,
at that
it's pretty
stuff.
cool.
And
It
for
tells you so much
creators and stuff.
information, and it's really good actually for brands because they want to know.
So you can like this. How do you do that? Screenshot, or you can export or
Yeah,
share.
you can
or-
screenshot. We also
yeah.
have a media kit that has it on there. And like,
And there's
Could you fake that if
Well,
you wanted to, like Photoshop it and be like,
For
nah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting
Yeah.
like tons of engagement.
but there's also some tourism boards and brands want you to use these websites that will analyze because it's public
Oh,
data
okay.
too, or actually you sign up for it, so
Okay.
it will go and
this is the
pull
good
all that data from your account.
So we reached 1.8 million people in the last month. 1.6 million of those was from Reels,
Oh wow,
and the rest
yeah.
was from photos.
Wow,
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So huge difference. So,
So
like,
the Reels game is
yeah, the
big.
Reels is how we've grown.
Yeah.
Like,
So back
You-
in January or whenever it was, Mark Zuckerberg did his like, I don't know if it was an annual thing he does or just an update that he was doing,
Yeah.
and he basically said Instagram is like Reels now.
yeah, he's
Like,
not a
this is what
photo
we're-
sharing
this
app
is what we're
anymore.
pushing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if it's only a matter of time till they just change it and call it Reels.
I know, right?
They're just
No.
like, we're Reels now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's sad because photographers don't have a platform now. Like, so
that's true.
it's like, it honestly,
Twitter, maybe.
Well,
yeah, a lot of them are going to Twitter,
Yeah.
but it's just sad because I personally, I don't know, now I'm changing, but I used to not really like Reels. Like, I don't really watch them. I like photos a lot.
Yeah.
But now it's different.
Yeah.
So you
it's still
can't- yeah.
there though. I mean,
And brands still want photos a lot, which is interesting.
yeah.
Is, do you like have to go look or pay attention to what Instagram is publishing publicly, like from a like business perspective?
There's
or-
like YouTubers who like do stuff on that I'll watch occasionally, but not too much really.
yeah.
Yeah.
So give me one juicy industry secret that you can share that would be valuable.
So like, what do you mean by juicy? Like,
I don't know, not juicy. I guess like what's a secret that you're like something that to really help
like a newer creator?
person.
Oh.
Yeah, that maybe is hard to find because gatekeepers or whatever.
I feel like there's not a lot of that. I mean, it's pretty obvious what is viral on TikTok and Reels. I mean, obviously, I think that the obvious thing would be if you're not posting Reels, then you're probably not really
Yeah,
gonna grow.
I think a lot of people make the mistake of treating their Instagram like a personal diary or something. If you're not providing value to people, then you're never going to grow.
think
It's not
that's
about
great
you,
advice.
it's about them. And like, that's how we've been successful and people love it when we do post about ourselves. I hit it. Did you not see that?
Just slant. You're just like trying to
like-
eat that mic.
So, yeah, people like it when we post about ourselves, but if we only like, it's very sporadic. Like, it's mostly how can we help them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would
So
focus on.
it's really just finding finding a way to become valuable.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
That's I've talked about that on the podcast. That's like one thing that and I'll echo it again. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. That Elon Musk talks about basically is like find ways to become valuable.
Right.
To whatever it is, a company.
Yeah, and there's several ways that you can do that. Like humor is valuable,
Mm-hmm.
like entertainment, and then obviously itineraries and trip planning.
Yep.
Actually, probably
but like
the biggest thing that probably a newer person wouldn't know, and probably a lot of people who've been doing it for a while, is that it seems like people don't really care for the curated stuff where you spent a lot of time editing your videos and they're really, really well done, and more like authentic things.
Oh, 100%. Like I have this one friend who she's been a creator on Instagram for a while, but her stuff is amazing. Like, it's like cinematic type. But it's not like no one's going to watch that because like they just want something fast and they want something like quick. Like I don't recommend spending that long on reels. Like I think that's also how we've been successful. It's kind of about quantity over quality. Like your stuff should be as high quality as possible. But you need to just post a lot because if you're spending like 3 hours on one reel, that's like not efficient, you know?
Or an
like,
entire day
and like,
shooting just
yeah,
one
you can
reel.
do that for a brand if you want, but like if you're trying to grow, it's not. I like some of my most viral reels like took me like 2 minutes to make, so yeah. And once you get better at creating viral stuff, once you know how to do it.
So you spend like 10, 20 hours a week probably doing this?
Like on everything, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, like emailing brands, like creating the content, engaging, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our
Second
weekends,
job.
our weekends are pretty much full all the time.
Yeah.
We're either traveling for doing things like shooting things, and it's for ourselves too. We're experiencing things. It's not like we're
fun.
just we actually really like it. It's
and
what
that's
we were
one
doing
thing.
before.
Like I actually just saw this quote today on Instagram. It was like being successful is having fun. Like that's how you know you're successful, and that's like literally what like I'm trying to make my job like as fun as possible. And I do enjoy my job as an optometrist, and I would never not want to do that.
Right.
Because I think doing like this Instagram thing full time would be so stressful and would take the fun out of it.
Totally.
But like it's just really fun to like be able to travel for free. And like we just went on like a creator trip that like they had like a chef make us dinner and we met all these cool people and like got this experience that not a lot of people get, and it's just like cool and fun.
Yeah, I think that's the secret sauce. I mean, it's like if you're not at least enjoying what you're doing or having fun while you're doing it, it's like there's so many other ways you can spend not break your back, like 20 hours a week is not breaking your back, but like you could get
like,
another job doing 20 hours a week
right.
and make just as much money or whatever,
Like
so
it's like I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it. Like I actually love it. So what else am I going to be doing? Like watching TV. Like I don't read as much anymore.
Because more money isn't going to really bring you that much more happiness. So you might as well enjoy what you're doing and make some money doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then be able to work less like at my other job so I can have more free time and stuff. Like 4 8s would be my goal, I think.
4 days a week, 8 hours a day.
Or 3 8s. That would be nice too.
Yeah.
3 8s.
We'll see what happens.
Or like 1 8.
Yeah.
Just
I think 1 8 of different jobs would be pretty good because
it's just cool. Like
I think right now, I mean, like you said, you love being an eye doctor, seeing your patients.
Yeah.
But if you did that 2 times a week and then you did this 2 times a week and then you did something else a couple times,
it's good to have a variety so you don't get sick of one thing.
I think it makes sense like if it was something that's more transactional like optometry. It's like you're doing like basically like or not every patient's the same, but I think you get the point where it's like it's going to be somewhat the same thing week to week.
Right.
Instead of like if you're doing 1 8 or 2 8 of a job
of a long project,
like you really need that
more
time to focus and to hone in on that skill or that thing that you're doing. But no, I totally dig it. I mean, that's so you You have Fridays off, so
Yeah.
that allows you just to do more
Yeah.
of the traveling and
Honestly,
things
like at this
that.
point, like I don't think I could have kept it up much longer.
Really?
Like without, because it just becomes so much, like the Instagram thing.
Yeah.
So it would have been a lot to be working 5 days a week, and then especially because a lot of it's trips that we go on. So it's just easier to have flexibility. So
Yeah.
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 I don't think I could have gone much longer. And
Like,
then
traveling
Yeah.
is so hard.
no, it's not, but you need time
Having
for it.
chefs cook for us is so tiring.
Oh, I don't. Yeah,
Can't do
there is this
that.
one. I have a call tomorrow, which I don't think that we're gonna do this, but this like casting director reached out to us about this like survival show from like
Oh,
these
Jesus.
Netflix producers
Yeah.
to like survive the Alaskan wilderness.
Okay. All
And
right.
if you survive, you get $100,000 and you get paid for your time.
Mm.
But I was like, I'll hear you out, but I don't think I can like. I don't think I would want to, first of
Yeah.
all, because I would embarrass myself on TV. Like,
Well,
I would not
there's
do
that,
well.
but there's also like there's guys that will like starve themselves
know,
and
yeah.
just like
No,
there's
they're all
some
normal people. Like,
freaking crazy.
Yeah.
no, they
people
wouldn't
out
have
there
reached
that-
out to like.
Yeah, I think,
Maybe.
They're normal.
I
They're-
think they have a show like it on Netflix already, and we looked at it.
Yeah.
And it's like average.
Yeah,
very
it's average people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't
So
know.
you think.
We'll see
Yeah.
what she has to say.
So
but
you
it's just
think.
it's also kind of fun to just get emails like that, like
Yeah.
during my lunch break.
So you get approached and you get sent stuff sent like Athletic Greens. I know like sent you some stuff.
Yeah,
and,
we
like,
get we
Liquid
get like
IV and-
it's interesting because like a lot of companies will send you free stuff and like no strings attached.
They're like, if you want to
Yeah.
post about it,
But
you
we
can.
haven't looked into taxes that much yet since we haven't had to pay any as an LLC. But apparently you have to pay taxes on gifts. So if you post about it, so even if it's just a gift, like
Oh right, yeah,
so I'm like I'm not gonna post about it then unless I love it. But
yeah, right. No, that makes sense.
yeah, so
You definitely
I don't
wanna
know.
get caught
Yeah,
up in that.
Well,
Have you?
That's also the thing with a lot of brands want to just send you something
And just
for, like,
hope
a
that you
story
post
or,
about it, yeah.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, they'll actually want you to post a story
Oh, yeah.
or whatever, and they'll want to trade you something like, oh, we'll let you stay at this resort, or we'll send you this thing, and it's kind of like, okay, well, first off, your product's $500, but I know it regularly goes on sale for $250. But if you send it to me for $500, then the value of it is $500. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
true, yeah.
And I didn't really want it anyway.
what are you talking about? Which one?
Oh, it's talking about like taxes.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like normally you'd be paying $250 for if it's on sale or whatever.
Right,
but
right.
Then if they give it to you, you're taxable up to $500.
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Have you been so like you want to stay on brand with like the products that you promote, so you
Exactly,
wouldn't
yeah.
promote something that didn't reflect like what you're doing or like
Yeah.
maybe things that your audience would
Right.
appreciate, right? Has there been instances where you'd had to decline
Oh yeah.
like things
Uh-huh.
that were
Yeah,
on
we
brand?
decline stuff all the time
Yeah.
because one, like they're not paying enough, or two, it's not a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
There was one like salted nut rolls, like wanted to send us something, and I like pretty healthy and like I don't know. I
You're
was
like,
like, I don't want this. Like I also feel like from like a sustainability standpoint, like I don't need all of this stuff, you know.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not going to accept it unless it's going to be useful or we're going to
Yeah.
enjoy
Well,
it.
And that's the other thing about the brands is it
Yeah.
has to be things that are sustainable or they're not wasteful. So like things that come in aerosol cans or anything like that, we wouldn't want to advertise because there's better ways to produce that product.
Also, you might get shit on online
Yeah.
with people just being like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
yeah.
Yeah, because we promote a lot about leave no trace, which is essentially, I mean, there's different degrees of it, but it's like when you go out somewhere besides your home, you're going hiking, you're going on an adventure, you're going to a park, stay on the trail, don't go off the trail. Anything you bring in, you bring back.
Yeah, we get a lot of trolls too.
Yeah, that was
and
gonna be my
yeah.
next question is like the gatekeepers,
Yeah.
the trolls or the
Yeah.
haters. Like, yeah, talk about a little bit about that.
It's funny because like the most hateful trolls are the most ironic. Like there's one who commented and he was like, "You're ruining wild species and natural places." And I look at his profile and he's a hunter, like posing with all of these dead animals, like in all of his photos. And I'm like, I'm a vegetarian. Like I'm the one ruining wild species. But yeah. And then there was this other lady who was like, just like shouting, like, you know, like cursing at us and saying like, you know, she hates us. And then I look at her profile picture and it was like positive vibes, positive life.
Oh,
Like
boy.
it's literally like that.
Yeah, you're
So
so
it's
fake.
like, yeah. So it's like hard to take that stuff seriously. But so I don't take it too personally, but there are some that like when you see the same thing over and over, you're like, this isn't bothering me.
Yeah.
Being called a parasite.
Oh
or
yeah.
something.
Someone's called me a parasite to society. And I just like responded and I was like, I'm a doctor. Like they were like, you're no help to the community. Find like a job that helps the community. And I was like,
yeah. Like I'm a
okay.
children's
Yeah.
eye doctor, so.
So anyway, sometimes Miles has to be like, don't respond. Don't respond. I don't respond.
Yeah.
Like the majority of them don't bother me, like to where I feel like I have to respond. But if it's like a bad day or if it's like just, you know, one thing, then I'll be like,
Well, you also live in a pretty. So we live in Colorado, which is very gatekeepy.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, so that's another thing. I feel like public lands are for everybody, and that's like that's the main thing. Like if someone doesn't, I don't think most people have intentions like I'm gonna go like mess up, you know, I'm gonna go ruin the environment today, you know. I think that they just don't know better, and so the best you can do is educate them. And I wouldn't share, like I'm really intentional about what I share. So if it's a national park, I'm gonna share the places in the national park because they have money and they have resources. But if it's like BLM land or somewhere that's not, you know, not a marked trail or something, I don't share that.
Well, share maybe the location.
Right, the
Share
location.
the
I'll share a
place.
picture, but not the location. But some people take it to the next level. Like we posted a reel about Colorado with no locations, just the state, and they were like, "Why didn't you include Leave No Trace?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure people know what Colorado is.
Yeah.
Like, calm down."
Yeah.
Well, there's some people who wouldn't. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I think
guess,
people
yeah.
people just take it to the extreme, and like I understand like people do ruin places, but I believe like with education, like most people want to be respectful. So
well, and the other- yeah, it's a place. So if you always kept a place a secret, then they would never build the infrastructure in the first place. And so one of the best things to do, especially I think when you're smaller on social media, is share something, but provide a lot of tips for it. For instance, I mean, this is actually a bigger thing, but if you're somewhere in Wyoming, Montana, like in those regions that have grizzly bears, you would tell people bring bear spray. When we went to a cave in Oregon, a little cave in Oregon, the bats in that area have white nose syndrome or something like that, and you're supposed to clean your shoes off so that you don't spread it from different cave, like one cave to another or certain areas. So we said, you know, do this thing.
Yeah.
So we're posting about this and then asking people, like telling people, because they may not read the signs that are there. They may not know at all. I mean, it's not something you would normally think about. So
yeah. And then I think there's also like you don't really ever expect your video to get like 1 million views. So when it does, like people come after you for sharing it, but you're like, I didn't know that this is gonna get that many views, you know? Am I supposed to treat every single video like it's gonna get that many? So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've messed up a few times, but like sharing places, but you don't really expect.
Well, I think they're just in places where historically they weren't as popular, and then all of a sudden tons of people move to that one place. People get very fragile about certain things like this.
Right.
Colorado or Denver in general is kind of like that. I know Idaho is becoming that. Basically, same thing. So there's a lot of like people with native stickers.
I know. I'm like, oh, what tribe are you?
Yeah.
I think that's becoming kind of a thing in like every state now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Even in Florida, we had those flow grown. stickers.
Flow grounds. Yeah,
that was usually for the people who were more like country.
But I think like that's literally your circumstance that you were born into. Like that, like really, that's not right in my opinion. Like you chose to be born on this land. Like that means like no one should immigrate here. Like what? Like it just like it's like a sign of a bigger issue. I think that you feel like you deserve this land more than someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it's driven by money because
and I
the
get
high
that.
cost of
Yeah,
living
yeah.
starts to become a thing, and now
Yeah.
they're pissed off because it's affecting their bottom line, and
Yeah.
so they lash out and be like, "Fuck everybody who moved here.
Yeah.
My rent's double now that it was, 3 or 4 years ago." And
Or the traffic's bad.
Right. Yeah. And I do
Money
understand
talks.
that. I do understand that. And
Yeah.
I think like having a respectful conversation, like trying to find more solutions. But
Mhm.
I think people are just like,
yeah,
not ever going to be reasonable about it.
yeah,
It's funny. Sometimes people will post things about not moving here and whatnot, and then you'll look and they're like from Texas or something.
yeah.
You're like, you're not even from here.
I remember when I moved here 8 years ago, there were people online saying, "Don't move here. It's
Yeah.
terrible here."
Really?
And then 2 comments below it was like, "Shh."
Yeah. So you're like, oh, I know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, people do that. So it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like all the time. Every
Mhm.
post, you'll always have someone saying stuff like
Yeah,
that.
don't go
Yeah.
here. It's not worth it. Yeah. I mean, like I totally get like the overcrowdedness on certain things. Like I know Hanging Lake is a
Mhm.
victim of that. I know
Yeah.
a large portion of it actually was from one of the fires that
Mhm.
started. Some mudslides came down. They're
But they
actually
did-
trying to open it back up this year.
Yeah. Well, they just released reservations on Monday. So
Did
it's
they?
open. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Mhm,
nice.
mhm.
But that's
Yeah.
the thing, though, is they closed it and then they built the better infrastructure to allow more people and then
Yeah.
set a reservation system.
And
Yeah.
more
So
people
now-
means more money into it too.
Yeah.
So it's not all bad.
Well, you
I
have
don't
these like
think.
people like actually going into the water and standing
Yeah.
on the logs, and you're like, don't fucking do that. And there's even signs like that say like stay on the
Mhm.
trail, and
Yeah.
like it's like fuck you.
Mhm.
That's when it's appropriate to be like, hey,
Yeah.
don't fucking do that. You're
Right.
ruining it for the rest of us. Then they had to close it down again,
Yeah.
rebuild up whatever, this, that, and the other. And
Yeah, I get
Um,
it. I mean, it sucks to see people are really disrespectful to places too.
Yeah.
But like, am I really responsible for that? Like by
No.
telling them,
but
so-
you're kind of like the unappointed like
right.
ambassador of like
Yeah.
certain things, at this point. So
Yeah.
it's like if anybody's gonna lash out, it's like
Mhm.
you're an easy target.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much hate the tourism boards get because we actually over the weekend met. She's like a tourism director for a place in Montana, but she used to be a tourism director for Sedona, Arizona. And I don't know if you know about Sedona, but Sedona has like multiplied in visitors. It's become like a super hotspot.
Since the pandemic.
And there's like millions of visitors now. And
So
it's
she's
like,
pretty good at what she does then.
well, she said it was toxic. Like I asked her how it was
Oh.
because I think like I don't know, it's just a mess there because they were not prepared for it. And
Imagine this really small. It is
It's
a
a small
really
town,
really
yeah.
small town,
Mhm.
like super small.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty popular with people who
Yeah,
have
for
always
a
been
while,
into
yeah.
traveling. But you're talking like hundreds of thousands of people, and now it's in the millions.
Yeah.
And so you have these small town people who probably haven't worked with massive travel tourism
yeah.
like issues, and now all of a sudden they're facing
There's
that.
like this one popular bridge hike there where you have to like wait in line to take a photo. Like
Jesus.
I will never.
So
go
we're
on a
not
hike
going
like
there.
that.
Gag
I don't
me.
know. Like,
Like,
why would I want to
fuck
go and
off.
wait in line to have the same photos as everybody else?
Like,
I'll find a different bridge.
Arches is kind of like that now. A
Yeah.
little bit.
For sure.
But there's
Yeah.
still ways to avoid crowds. Like Miles and
Mm-hmm.
I will go in the off season, like the winter. We'll go at sunrise, and
Yeah.
like we don't really have an issue with crowds.
Or
that
go to
often.
like Canyonlands.
Yeah,
Like nobody
yeah.
ever goes there.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what the tourism boards try to promote too. They're not
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, we need more people in the summer.
Right.
Please come in the summer. They're like, they'll ask you, can you please try to push this place more because
Yeah.
we don't get as many people going here.
Like
But it's-
Glacier.
but it's beautiful.
The fact that we worked with Glacier tourism is like crazy because Glacier is so popular, but it's only during the summer. So when we went, there was barely anybody there. But during the summer, like you need reservations. There's no rental. You have to book your rental car 6 months in advance. So it was cool to work with them, but like they would never want to work with us during the summer,
Yeah, Sedona's good. It's kind of like the classic example of like too much growth can be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of businesses face that, where your infrastructure can't handle it and you end up failing because you can't provide
Yeah.
excellent product or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of Colorado mountain towns.
I know. And I
face
made
that.
a reel about mountain towns, and I felt kind of bad because it kind of went viral, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no,
Um,
Cresta Butte,
yeah,
perfect example of
I know.
how much too much growth can really hurt a town.
Yeah.
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 hmm.
So, but I feel like there are still towns that aren't as popular that need it. It's just also hard to know which ones, unless
I mean, they're all like really great. I mean, there's
I know.
some that are
Yeah.
like have very specific, unique geographical like
Yeah.
things that are special to it, and then but I don't know. Most mountain towns I've been to in Colorado have just a charm to it.
Yeah,
That's like
for sure.
undeniable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's name them all.
Right now.
I already did that.
No,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, go on their Instagram, Adventuring Eyes, to find out.
for sure,
Yeah.
you have places like Aspen, Telluride, Crested Butte,
Yeah.
and you can go there and have kind of like a luxury experience now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that really existed before. You have some towns that still don't have that, but they're kind of getting to that point. Once there's enough money there, enough people come there, enough wealthy people come there, then you can have that luxury experience. And that's still cool. Like Uray, like those towns, it's beautiful. It's still awesome to experience, having that ability to go to the ski resort or go to the spa or whatever.
I still
that's
feel
fun.
like there are times of the year that they're not that crowded. Like when we went to Crested Butte, it wasn't that crowded, honestly.
Oh yeah, even
we went for the 4th of July. I mean, the parade was crowded, but the trails, we were the only ones there. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the issue too is just like the people who grew up there like can't afford to live there just because of the cost of living. But also like that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, the late like the service industry, a lot of the service workers and the restaurant industry, like they can't get people to work because they've been priced out of the real estate market.
Right.
And so they had to move somewhere where they could afford,
Right.
Denver saw that in the very beginning of the pandemic. It's starting to loosen up a little bit, but a lot of gentrified neighborhoods just priced people who are, couldn't afford to buy a house, and live and have a fixed kind of mortgage rate. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Hopefully it stabilizes. Capitalism. What are you gonna do?
And then everyone moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Now they're moving back.
Yeah. Or Florida.
A lot of people are moving to Florida.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, I mean, it shows because I've seen plenty of. I sent you that, or I sent to the family chat because they all live in Florida and they're like, oh, that's what happens. Or we were talking about like high cost of living here or whatever. Like, oh, I should have moved back to Florida. Blah blah blah. And then I saw in Tampa some guy's rent literally doubled.
Wow. Yeah.
And now he's paying like $3,200 when he was paying like $15.
That's crazy.
I'm like, that's.
But also inflation everywhere too. It's just like, I don't know.
Well,
what are we supposed to do?
That's the thing when you have rentals, like these new rental single family communities, homes. That's the problem with those is when you buy a home, your homeowner taxes might go up, the cost of living in other ways like food and whatnot might go up, but your mortgage isn't going to go up unless you have a variable rate. But when you are renting, your rent, if you don't have rent control, which some states do, like I think California does, can literally just change to any number they want to change it to. Yeah, like it doesn't matter. And some landlords are nice, I guess. I don't know. There is some incentive to keeping good residents, of course, but yeah, that can happen. Like if there is no vacancy at an apartment complex, they have almost no incentive to really care about keeping most of their residents around. They'll just
they'll price people out to create vacancy. Yeah, because when they create vacancy, the cost, the amount of money they bring in for a new person is way higher than a repeat customer because they have all these fees involved, like to get somebody to sign a lease, the application fee, the move-in fee, the this, that. And if you just renew, they don't get capture any of that. They're just
Yeah.
capturing 12 more.
But it is
lets
more of
and
a risk.
more.
Like I think they like to keep good
Yeah,
renters,
yeah.
you know?
A lot of the
In a-
times
in a
that's
certain
when they
market,
have
right?
vacancy though.
Hmm.
So if you have no vacancy, if you
Yeah.
have a bad renter, you can
Yeah.
I mean, eviction is a pretty shitty process, but they can go through renters easier.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have vacancy, leaving an apartment open for a couple months or potentially half a year or a year, like that's a huge hit they're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people calling for rent control or rent. Is that what it's called? Rent
Yeah,
control.
rent control.
Yeah, which like has its pros and cons, right?
Yeah,
you know,
of course. It's I the first time I ever thought about that was when we moved to Boston, because I was like, how is it so expensive here?
Yeah.
And then I looked into it, and yeah, I saw what the cons are, because I don't think they have it there. And yeah, it's essentially, it's very bad for investing in like new homes or renovations, because the landlords have really no incentive to like invest in that city or that town anymore.
Yeah.
And they can go somewhere else and they can increase rent.
That's what happened with like the famous case we talked about in episode like 3 or 4. It was Venezuela when they had a lot of price control over consumer goods, and it drove the economy down because nobody wanted to invest in Venezuela anymore because they knew they couldn't make any money. Because they were being like, well, if the ceiling of what I can charge for this product is here, I can charge it here somewhere else. I'm going to go here somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it completely moved industry right out of Venezuela.
Yeah.
But I mean, rent is pretty crazy. Rent is
Yeah.
pretty crazy. But anyway, I don't know how we got on that topic. But, Crested Butte, I think it was, famous case of
Yeah.
mountain town being crazy expensive.
Right. But like, is that Instagram's problem though? You
Fuck
know?
no.
Like,
But you're an easy target.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that bothered you a little bit, having to deal with the trolls?
No,
maybe
for
a
the
little
most
bit
part, I
first?
don't get that many. It's like if you have a video that goes viral, you get
Yeah.
a lot.
We also
But-
don't post a ton of Colorado stuff.
Yeah,
We
I
do a
feel
lot
like
of
we don't
X.
get a ton of trolls compared to someone else. I think if they attacked me personally, I would be really upset by that. But usually it's not against me personally.
Yeah.
But if everyone was like, "She's so ugly," like I would probably be affected by that.
No.
Yeah,
You don't even know me.
But yeah, like we don't get any personal attacks. So
Not yet.
yeah,
They're listening. They're like, well, we know how to get under her skin. So
It is when you hear about big influencers or YouTubers or whatever talk about that kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, those comments hurt, guys. I mean, it's a real thing. I can
Yeah.
imagine
they don't see
if
you as a
had-
person.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you had thousands of these comments of
Oh my
people
gosh,
saying
yeah.
things like your hair is weird, or your
Yeah.
nose is like messed up, or it's slightly to little things like that, like calling out things about your body. I can imagine you would feel your self-esteem would just feel horrible all the
Yeah,
time.
and there are like those bigger influencers, like they get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what tools do you use, like software, to edit your stuff?
I just use Lightroom. And I edit my reels on the Instagram app, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's not like worth me going to another app and doing all this fancy stuff.
That's pretty easy.
I have a lot
too,
of
right?
friends. Yeah, it's super easy. And I have a lot of friends who like spend tons of time on other video editing apps, but I'm like, that's not gonna be I'm not trying to be a videographer.
It's not worth your
Like my
time, too.
photography, like I am learning Photoshop a bit because I'm like passionate about photography, but like I'm never gonna be like a videographer.
Yeah.
I just want to post reels to grow essentially and like have memories.
I saw they you can now just have Photoshop instead of having to buy all of
Oh,
the
really?
yeah. You can
Oh,
just,
interesting.
Now you can just buy it for one
Oh, I
flat.
didn't know that. We
rate,
have
yeah.
like
Yeah,
the whole package.
we've had that for a while.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, you can do just Photoshop or Photoshop Lightroom.
Photoshop is complicated though. I might need your help. Like if you
It's a pretty steep learning curve.
Yeah, it
Not as much as
is.
some of the other products like After Effects, which is video effects.
right.
That one by far has the steepest learning
Yeah.
curve. Yeah.
It's just like I wish that their icons were labeled. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but then
Like,
that's like annoying if
I
you
know,
already know how to
I
use
know,
them.
but like
yeah.
it just
Maybe
would be
there should be, like, a
helpful.
beginner mode.
Yeah, a beginner
Yeah.
mode because that's my issue. Like I'm like I know what I want to do, but I can't find where to
Yeah,
do
and then
it.
you have to Google and it takes time.
Yeah, like I just watch a lot of YouTube videos and like yeah, it's just a lot.
I found like the best way to if you're using it all the time is like keyboard shortcuts. Is like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the money. That's where you're going to really
And I'm
become
sure.
the difference between a beginner and like a wizard is like being able to be like,
Oh my
I just
gosh,
did
yeah.
50 things that would take you like an hour to do in like a minute.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just learning like the interface, I feel like is
Yeah.
like, yeah,
It's
it's
the
a
same
lot.
thing with software development.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
I do
another
use-
language,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah, it's like um it's funny, like a lot of people will have like graphic design jobs and are really really highly proficient in like things like Photoshop, and they'll do something in like 30 minutes that like to other people seems like they've been working on it all day. So you can
Yeah.
really just kind of like
Chill.
if you were a lazy piece of shit and
Yeah.
didn't want to like work, you
Right.
could pretend that you've been working all day while
Yeah,
only
I
doing
feel like
like 30
once
minutes of
you
work.
know all the icons and like what you're
Yeah.
where everything is, I think it would be pretty easy like to know what you want. Like I know what I
Yeah.
want to do. I just like
Yeah, right.
can't find how to do it.
A to B. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's steps. Yeah.
But it's cool what you can do on
Mhm.
there. Like there's just so much that you can
Yeah,
do.
a lot people sell what are called actions too, Photoshop actions,
Uh,
which are basically just automation.
Yeah.
So like, and you can create them. So if you wanted to like create a new layer, then add a adjustment layer, which like brightness, contrast, levels, whatever,
Yeah.
vibrance, and then flatten the image, and then export as a JPEG. Well, people, you can create that action. That it's just a list of
Oh, yeah.
actions, and then when you hit that button, it performs all those actions like that. And then now all of a sudden you have this saved.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
people will do some really crazy, complicated, like
Yeah.
even stuff that requires like coding, like JavaScript.
Yeah.
And they'll like sell that on like Creative Market.
Yeah, a
or
lot
other
of people
places.
sell Lightroom presets too.
Yeah,
like
presets,
they're
yeah.
just like, but yeah, I think it would be cool to learn. But honestly, like I can do pretty good with Lightroom. Like I'm not trying to do like I also feel like I kind of prefer like I don't like to edit my photos where it's like not realistic.
Sure.
Like Photoshop, I can always tell now like how people edit their photos, like if they use Photoshop or Lightroom.
Totally.
And like
that
the Photoshop
sky
ones
isn't
are
as
like
vibrant.
really art, like it's art, but like it's not realistic. Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like for what I'm doing, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
want to be like the Instagram versus reality.
Well, it's like I think in the industry it's assumed like when you're shooting in RAW
yeah.
that it's raw, so it's just gonna come out kind of like
Yeah.
with flat tone, and then you're gonna take that and you're gonna just kind of punch it up.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think you can do so much in Lightroom too, especially like
Oh,
they
yeah.
came out with like a lot of new mask tools and stuff.
Yeah, it basically it just was like, okay, photo manipulation. It took Photoshop and was like manipulation. Take that out. Take this out. So we're really just focusing on like making an existing static image and trying to elevate it using like adjustment layers.
Yeah.
basically.
Right. Yeah. In an easy to use way.
Yes, very intuitive that anybody can like, kind
Yeah.
of pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have like the
And, like,
iPhone
that.
app too. You use
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And that like Lightroom, like now I can edit an image like super quick, but it like, it took me a while at the beginning, but now it's just super easy.
Yeah.
I think they have a Photoshop app, mobile app
Really?
too, but it's
Yeah.
it's
Do they
like
really?
it's literally just meant for pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also just released their new it's like for content creators basically. It's like a fast, easy to create like content. So basically they have like it's a subscription, it's like $10 a month, but basically you get access to like a stock image library, stock effects, and different things. You can create compositions very quickly on the fly.
Huh, that's cool. I should look into that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it took me like 3 hours to learn how to do a light beam in Photoshop like last week, and it did not look good.
Yeah.
But I was kind of just learning like how to do it. But I'm like, this wasn't
Yeah.
really fun for me.
Yeah, I remember like interviewing graphic designers, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "How good are you at Photoshop?" And there's like easy ways to tell somebody is like knows how to do like basic things, and there's people who know how to use Photoshop.
Yeah,
like
right.
Like in a wizard. That I always
Yeah.
I use the term wizard. yeah, there's just certain things you can tell.
Yeah, I think honestly it's kind of a waste of time if you're just going to be posting on Instagram or even doing
Totally.
brand photography.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, brand photography is probably like the ones that I edit the least. Like, I don't, because they have to look the most realistic. So I
Yeah.
just do, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to do anything crazy for those. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one thing that's like really great, and I think Lightroom has it now too, is like if you do have like, say you took a photo and there's like an exit sign in the shot, and you want to remove it.
Oh yeah.
Like Photoshop's been really good about like using neural networks and like AI to basically just like create bitmap data to replace it and make it look like it was never there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lightroom, like you can pretty much do that. It's just when it's really fine, then that's what I want to learn better on Photoshop. But I think that's actually pretty easy
Yeah, it totally
on
is, yeah.
Photoshop. But I just like haven't really had the need for it.
It's
like,
called content aware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, you can just like take your lasso tool and
Yeah.
just circle the thing that you want to remove, and then you hit content aware, and then it will take existing bitmap data
Yeah.
around that
Wow.
image.
That's like so easy.
Yeah.
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 I'm telling you this.
Yeah, but on Instagram, it's like it compresses your
Yeah.
image anyway. Like, why
Well,
am I gonna spend if there's a sign in the photo, I can get rid of it. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's nice to have
there's like
or
off
if there's a
the
fence or
sand
something.
dune. Yeah.
Because we don't go over the fences or anything. But also the reason why we haven't needed that much is we try to make it as realistic as we can.
Exactly.
Because
Totally,
If
I
someone
mean-
goes to that place after seeing your photo and they're like, this doesn't look as cool, then they're going to be really disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, a lot of images you'll see of colorful things. Some people, I mean, usually when you take a picture, it's not going to show the color as much, so you do enhance it a bit. But some people will really enhance it to where it looks nothing like
this
how it
one,
actually
like
looks
this
in real life.
photo,
Yeah.
like that was so easy.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah, you
like,
put
on
like
my
a
phone.
is like a little
It's just
vignette
like a
around
little
it.
tool,
Yeah.
essentially.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you can, for instance, you can have this view where you don't have the tree branches in it, but where we needed to put the camera, we had to have the tree branches in it.
Yeah.
And so something like that, I think, is fine to remove those.
Yeah.
Because you can still have that experience there.
Uh-huh.
But if there was like a big thing right in front of the waterfall, we wouldn't want to remove that because
Yeah.
you're going to see it.
It's also really easy with like landscape photos and stuff like that because of how organic everything is. And if you are trying to basically replace something in a very, very ordered, like geometric, like background, then it's going to be like, it's going to freak out a little bit and trying to replace it. Like the photo you just showed where you took out the yellow leaves, it was really probably easy using the spot healer to remove that because the background data is very like kind of organic.
Uniform, yeah.
And it doesn't really follow like it doesn't have an order to it.
Well, there was
kind of
one sand
chaotic.
dune picture though, like that had ripples, and I was still
Uh-huh.
able to like line up the ripples exactly.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like, yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. What's been your favorite place you've traveled to in the last year?
In the last year.
Yeah, the last year. I wasn't gonna
feel
say
like-
like ever because I
yeah.
know your answer's gonna be like Thailand or whatever, you know. So
Yeah, I feel like
we all know that.
in the last year.
Yeah,
What month is it?
it's May.
Okay, May. So
This will come out in June, but it's
Okay,
May.
May. So should we do domestic?
Sure.
And then, okay. Let's see.
We haven't traveled internet.
We
you
traveled
haven't.
We went to
Iceland.
Iceland.
That was
yeah.
last year.
Yeah, it's 1 year.
In the past year. Okay.
Yeah, 365 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant just this year.
Did you have to go on the Instagram or the?
Yeah, I'm looking
blog?
at where we've been.
Wow,
Let's
sure. We've traveled so much I can't even remember.
I think probably Iceland was the number one, but
Yeah.
probably like Utah, the remote trails
Mm-hmm.
that we did like in winter because I think part of it was that we were the only people there like in these crazy landscapes, and just to have that to yourself is just like feels crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Because if I think about a trip that I remember the most, it was this one.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, we went to
and that one was free because we slept in our car. We didn't get paid to go or anything,
Yeah.
but we didn't
So
spend
glamorous.
anything because we slept in our car. Yeah.
It's not all
In the
it's not all
15
glamour,
No.
guys.
In the
All right, there's a little
15-degree
grit to
weather.
it.
Yeah, in 15-degree weather.
Oh, fuck that.
thank God for thermal
Yeah.
sleeping
But
bags.
we woke up for every sunrise and it was like 18 degrees and we were like
You
shooting
had no
photography.
You had no choice to wake up at sunrise. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. That also, like, I feel like that trip like skyrocketed our Instagram too. Like once I posted our photos from that, it like
Yeah.
That's-
was a cata.
Yeah, people
list.
are really, really into Utah
Yeah,
content.
they are.
It's
Well, I
huge.
mean, it's they're really unique
yeah.
geographical monuments. You know, it's like I
This
mean,
is one of my favorites.
yeah, even just
Yeah.
Moab, you know, which we went to back in 2020.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
so
that it
crazy.
just feels like a whole nother world.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel like
But
you're.
just imagine being the only person there.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
it's
that
insane.
one, like the formation on the top.
This one?
That one.
No, the one next to it. That one was really crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just
And
like this thing like coming up.
even where we're standing,
So
I
crazy.
mean, yeah, there's these, you can see up kind of like toward the left of where I'm at. It's just insane how it all comes down to the ground
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, what the rivers and stuff formed here. But this is one of my favorite pictures that we took. This is the
Yeah,
Bentonite
it felt like
Hills.
Mars.
But you
Like,
can see
Yeah.
here, this is kind of how the itineraries are. So just as
Yeah.
an example.
Is there a character limit to the post?
there is, but I rarely.
never
yeah,
hit it?
I don't hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I think the smaller captions are a little bit better. I mean, like this is a good one here, but if it was too long, then I
Yeah.
think people may not be as interested. Then you can
Interesting.
have a blog and just say,
This was like the first trip where I really like was starting to learn how to do photography too. Like,
Yeah. So what kind of camera do you use for everybody
we have
who's
the
listening?
Sony A6400.
Yeah.
So it's like a crop sensor, but it's a good it's a really good
Are you
camera.
planning
I really
on
like it.
upgrading the body?
Probably at some point, but we have I think the lenses are much more important and we have like
Absolutely.
really good lenses.
Yeah.
We have the G Master like 24-70 and 16-35. So those are like some of the best lenses you can get. It was way more than our camera.
Totally.
So we'll eventually get a full frame camera, but
Mhm.
I think we're fine for now.
Yeah.
We'll wait for Sony to sponsor us.
It's
No,
also
just
nicer
kidding.
Yeah.
because since the sensor is larger, that it can handle the darker settings better.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing. The low light capability I would like to have
Yeah.
better. But I mean, these lenses do a pretty
ISO.
good job.
In this picture, believe it or not, we were about a football field
Yeah, away from the camera.
from the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had
I
to
believe it.
set it up and then basically run down this like
Oh, you should show our
Re-
Rocky
very
Mountain
large
photo.
hill.
That's one of my favorites that we've taken. Or the lavender field one was good.
yeah. There's a lot of good ones. This
That
was,
one, that we like just got our camera.
yeah. We
But
were
I love that photo.
we were happy with it because of, I mean, just it's
Yeah, it's a
The
great one.
symmetry
I
is-
remember that one.
Yeah.
So what's the okay? So I asked you what the best place you've ever been to. What is the worst
Oh, yeah, that's
place?
okay.
You're no. I'll reframe that question. What has been the least favorite place?
It's a tough one. Gotta think about that.
By
Can
the
you
way,
scroll through our Instagram so I can-
this is Dream Lake.
Yeah. Mhm.
In Rocky Mountain National.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when the Angie and
Mhm.
Logan were here.
So
Yeah.
we came here. What month was it? It was before winter, right? But it was
Yeah,
when it was getting cold.
October.
October, and
I fell in the lake.
yeah, this was not frozen, obviously then.
Yeah.
But we climbed out on one of
Yeah.
these rocks, and yeah, Sarah fell in. It was pretty funny.
Pretty cold, huh?
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Miles had to give me his socks because I thought I was gonna get frostbite on my toe. Look.
You okay, buddy?
Your cat sneezing.
He does that from time to time.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Horrible.
Miles had to give me his socks because my toes
Yeah.
were literally gonna fall off.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Such a-
We've been in
such a
some
nice
interesting
husband.
conditions too. Like show
Yeah?
the sand dune photo. It was 20 degrees in this photo.
Yeah, I was like, this photo's fake.
Yeah. I had
How
my
dare you?
I had my jacket and I would just like put it on
Yeah.
between takes.
It looks like it would be warm, right?
It does look like it
Sun.
would be warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like super freezing. Huh?
Yes. It was
Yeah.
crazy feeling though. Like I don't like that photo.
I
as
bet your heart
much,
was
but-
beating fast. You're like, God,
Yeah,
damn,
it's
so
like
cold.
you're not really in those situations that much, but it's like exhilarating. Like
And then this photo
I don't like that
was
photo either.
in the
It
middle
was
of a
very
sandstorm.
difficult to take.
Yes,
Yeah. We had to shoot
extremely.
for a brand and it was literally like it was hurting how the sand was hitting us. It was very difficult.
And it was really difficult because it's sand, so you don't want to damage your equipment. So we
Yeah.
have to be really careful about that. Like if we're switching lenses or something.
It was really
Yeah.
hard. I didn't get the picture that we wanted, but
So it was
it's okay.
really windy, and so sand was blowing everywhere.
There's a we have a video. It's like
there was
insane.
a sandstorm.
An actual sandstorm.
That day.
Yeah, and it
early
only
in the
happens like
morning.
6 times a year maybe.
Oh man. So
And
guys
you could
lucked
not
out.
see the sand dunes. Like you would like, and it just looked like dust everywhere. And then that was directly after that.
So it was
Yikes.
still really
So
bad.
you
It was-
you'd like wait it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay,
Mhm,
now we're gonna
mhm.
shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too funny. Do you Instagram online? That's like you can't even use it, right? You
I don't
have any
use it
like tools
online.
or anything.
Yeah,
I-
brands will often look at your photos online.
Right, yeah.
But I don't really use it on.
So what does that
website.
look like to you? For anyone who's just listening, sorry, you should watch the YouTube.
Yeah, we're here. We are like, oh, look at
Oh,
that one. Look at
yeah.
this one. Oh my God. They're like, fuck these people. Just like I'm turning this stuff off. Sorry. I gotta find out how we can get video on Spotify. I think it's only people who are dealing with directly with Spotify. But what does that look like? It looks like a dried lake.
Yeah, it's salt.
Salt
Wow.
crystals? Yeah,
That's cool.
It was crazy.
It's hard as a rock. If you
Is that-
fell, you'd be fucked up.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
Did you like taste it? Is it salty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nasty. Wow. Leave no trace, guys. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
sorry.
Yeah.
We had to use some of the
Wow.
salt. Well, we were
Wow.
camping, so we had to use some of the salt.
You
for
know,
our
if
food.
everybody did that when they went, that there would be no salt left.
there would be so much salt. It's an entire lake of salt.
Was that like is that like a dried up lake basically with a saltwater
don't-
lake or something like that?
I'm not
Yeah,
How the
sure.
salt get there?
I think that it does flood sometimes, and then it just.
Really?
That's why I think it's like dirty like that.
Oh,
But yeah, for whatever reason, it forms that way. I can't remember.
They're really heavy too. It's much heavier than you would expect.
because like dense.
Yeah, and if
The
you
salt.
like, because we went to the salt flats too, and if you drop it, it sounds like metal. It's
Whoa.
crazy. Yeah, and they're so much heavier. Like this tiny little piece of salt is just so heavy.
Mm,
It was not what I expected.
yeah.
Did you ever post one from the flats?
No, not yet.
Oh, you guys are missing out. So the worst place we've been, or the
Oh,
least
yeah, I forgot
favorable
about
place
that.
we've been this year.
Yeah. Didn't answer that yet. Careful, choose wisely because that tourism board will no longer do business with you.
So I'll have to say something.
Or they'll
Gosh.
challenge you to come back, be like, let us make it up to you.
Honestly,
I know,
Don't
it's
say
so
I can't
hard.
choose.
Wait,
you
go
have to
back
choose.
up.
Gun to your head. You're like probably Denver. No.
just because we live here.
Yeah.
Oh, the Blue Lagoon. I'll say the Blue Lagoon.
Okay.
Because it's overrated in my opinion.
Yeah. Where's that at?
So I don't know, like
Iceland.
so. Oh yeah, so it's like is it one of the 7 or like
Ooh, I
they
doubt
say like it's like one of the new wonders of the world or whatever.
Oh, gotcha. So this is
But
in Iceland. So
the
this
Blue
is-
Lagoon, it's like maybe you could pull up a picture of it.
Yeah, pull it up.
But basically, it's like this famous hot spring, sulfur hot spring.
Mhm.
But it's very commercialized.
Oh, is this the one with the white?
The silky
stuff?
water, like
Yeah,
the super
yeah.
blue, that right there.
Yeah, we saw this on
Zac
Zac
Efron.
Efron.
Yeah, I like that.
That
So
show.
I thought like it was cool. Don't get me wrong. Like it was awesome to be there, but we went to so many other free hot springs and better hot springs in Iceland that I just think it's like overrated. It's so
Yeah.
expensive
It's really expensive
Um,
to get in.
and it was crowded.
Like, how much are we talking about?
Like 70 each, I think.
It depends when you go.
and that's just for a basic ticket.
Yeah, it can be much more than that.
What is the currency in Iceland? Is they have their own currency?
It's ISK
Yeah.
is the initials, but
Yeah.
I can't. I think it's like Icelandic krona.
Oh,
Yeah.
Krona, that's what
Corona?
it is. Yeah.
Nice. I love Corona.
Yeah, I think the Blue Lagoon's a little bit overrated in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very commercialized.
I just
So-
like like we went to some free ones on the side of the road that were
Yeah.
just so much better.
I think our mom was in the military and lived in Iceland for a while for that. And the way she described it back then, it sounded much more like what Sarah's describing, where it was
More
like you just
natural.
pull up and you hop in. And now you can't pull up and hop in.
Thanks, Zac Efron.
Yeah.
He literally probably helped.
Well, when they
or
made it
could
like
make it.
I don't know, it's like a new, some kind of like,
It's definitely been like that. I think
yeah,
somebody
it's been like that for a
so
while.
there's
They
a
designated it as
there's
something.
a plant, electrical plant next to it,
Yeah.
I think. And I believe they sold the land to a company. And now the company basically built this huge resort there and
Wow.
made it really expensive. And there's like they built bars into it, so you can see in this picture there's bars.
Nice.
So
I'd be into that.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool.
It's
There's no
fun,
bars
yeah.
at the free ones,
No.
so just saying.
Yeah, but you could bring your own alcohol like we did.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's also kind of creepy. I mean, this is just natural. I'm not complaining about it, but you'll just be walking and all of a sudden your foot will just go into like almost like sludge sand.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because it's all like bacteria and stuff that's in there
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
creates all that silica. Is that what it's
Yeah.
called? And you're just like, okay, I don't know what that was.
You're like,
I mean, it could have just been a bunch of shit.
it looks like a pool. Like somebody
Yeah,
like
it kinda does.
like it is concrete and somebody's poured too much chlorine into it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's for the rest of the year? You know, knowing your travel plans, what is the one place you're most looking forward to?
Easy.
Peru, yeah.
Peru.
Yeah.
When are you guys
We've been
going?
wanting, we're going in September. We've been wanting to go there for a long time.
Yeah, going to Machu
Yeah.
Picchu.
Yeah. We're doing like a 4-day trek there. And we're not working with like any brands or anything, which I think will be nice.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna like take it easy and like
Yeah, do your
take a
own
real
thing.
vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Huh.
So
That's
I'm
cool.
excited.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna be there, I think, for like 10 or 12 days.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot of content for the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about the trek. That'll be amazing. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
National Geographic named it like one of the best, like 25 best hikes in the world.
Whoa.
It's like, it's crazy.
What's it called again?
It's the Sarcante Trek. It's like 45 miles, I think, over
That's way
like
too long.
4 days.
It's like
No,
40
it's
miles longer than I want to do.
No, it's worth it. But like when you're like
You
the
have 4
only
days.
person, well, and everybody else because it's a popular trek, but
Yeah.
you get to be like in the middle of the mountains. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like doing things that like you can't experience unless you like work for it.
Totally.
You know.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And how over how many days is that? 45 miles.
Well, we're doing the short version, so
Oh,
we
shit.
may regret that.
Is
but
that the expedited where you have to jog half
it's
the way?
no. It's just because we didn't want to camp for 4 nights, so we're doing 3 nights and 4 days.
Okay.
So I think it'll be fine.
And what makes it expedited?
You just cut like I think it's the same mileage, but you cut out like some ruins and like
secret
a hot spring or
passage.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
So-
there were some ruins that were in some film.
Something. Yeah.
Oh.
It's
it Game of
crazy. It's
Thrones?
only $450 each
Yeah.
for 4 nights. They make your food for you. You
Nice.
camp like it's like a dome. You should pull up the Sky Dome. It's
Yeah,
cool.
pull it up.
Um,
What kind of food are you gonna be eating?
I don't know.
Probably rice and beans. or
Yeah, which I
something.
like honestly. like I'm not fancy,
Like
but
you must eat these bugs.
yeah, no, we did that already in Thailand.
that.
But yeah, it's like glamping. I feel like because I feel bad kind of because like the porters carry your stuff for you.
Oh wow.
I know, so it's like it's easy.
Oh, that's cool. So you guys are gonna be staying in those.
Yeah.
So what? If, for those who are just listening, it looks like igloos.
Yeah, with
basically.
glass tops,
Yeah, glass
basically,
tops. Yeah.
In the middle of the
Like
mountain.
you know those things that you ate in when you went to a restaurant on the sidewalk during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
They have some that are out on the mountain that you can stay in, but they're a couple $1,000s.
Oh
a
really?
night to
Oh
stay in.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can like hang. Have you seen those videos?
Yes.
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 I almost.
Fuck
I was
that.
like, it'll be worth it, but he wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, maybe if they ask us to stay there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's,
Fuck that.
That's tough.
I'm not into that. I don't know. No, that's cool. That's pretty sweet. And when are you going? You said
September.
September?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
That's cool.
excited.
It should be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of other trips planned in between there after going all over the U.S. going international a couple more times next year. So a lot of
Where
stuff.
are we going?
Yeah, where are you going?
We got the opportunity to host a group trip, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So like with our Instagram followers, we like did a survey about where everybody would want to go. And then they like, it would be free for us, but people like pay obviously to go on it. And then we all go together. And the top one was Costa Rica.
Nice.
So we might do that,
That's cool.
but we don't have enough responses yet.
So
You have to get 100 survey responses in order for them. That's what their data shows, that your trip will book in like a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're at like half of that, 50.
Yeah, you just wait.
So we're going to wait a few more months, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think it would be really cool to try. I really like traveling as a group, because that's like one thing. Like I've never met so many people that are exactly like me.
You're
you
not
know?
good enough,
It's
Miles.
No,
yeah,
and
no.
Miles.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird because at first I thought, who the hell would like? Why would people just want to go with us? Like, why would they pay
Yeah.
money to go with us, and when they can just plan their own trip and do their own thing? But then I realized, because we actually get this a lot, there are people who tell us, "Wow, this looks awesome, but I don't even know where to start planning the trip."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can look at the itinerary, but like, how do I book things? Like the accommodations.
Yeah, they do
the rental
everything for
car.
you, which is cool.
Yeah, and so they do all that,
And they have a local guide on the ground.
Oh, you mean
Right.
like, isn't there like travel agents?
Yeah.
Remember that
that's
was the
true.
thing?
Yeah.
You guys are like
yeah.
travel agents
That's
now.
true.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also the social aspect. So I mean,
Yeah.
people like that. We've experienced that now, and with traveling with other people who are doing this type of stuff, and
Yeah.
it was really fun.
It was really fun. Like our last trip this last weekend, because we like were traveling with other content creators, and we would all like stop like every 5 minutes, take photos of each other, and like it
course.
was just fun. Like
I would hate that.
Yeah.
It
I know,
sounds
but-
like you guys would love that,
No,
but I
I
would
know.
fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Are we ready to go yet?
Right, exactly. It's like rare to find other people who like to do that.
That's
you know?
cool. Yeah.
But it's cool. It's like special when you're with people like that.
Totally. Yeah. It's like you guys are fueling each other's like
Yeah.
thing.
And it's cool because we all like, our content looks different, even though
Yeah.
it was like the same. It's just cool to see like everyone's perspective on it.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get to do a trip with people. I think it would be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun socializing with people on, just through comments and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've met a decent amount of people now
Mhm.
from Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
one of the, aside from getting to, get paid to travel and stuff like that, that's one of the best things I think about it
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
is you can, right now, I mean, we live in a place where there's a lot of outdoor people, so it's a little easier here to meet people like that. But even so, where do you just go and say, I want to, like, we really like doing these longer hikes? How do we find people
Or like
who
we're
wanna do
obsessed with
that?
the national parks. Like
Yeah. I guess you could do like meetups. That's the whole.
There's
that
meetups,
platform,
right?
Yeah.
And so there's that option, and then the other option is just meeting people who
like
are
on the trail.
who are doing the same type of stuff as you, who are also creating content for whatever. And
It's just rare to meet someone who's like also a photographer, also obsessed with national parks, also loves like long hiking.
Yeah.
It's just like, but there's so many of them
Do you
on
guys have
Instagram.
orgies and stuff?
Maybe one day. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
whoa!
I'm just kidding.
You heard it here first, folks.
But no, it's just cool. Like we have people in Italy that we could have dinner with.
Yeah.
Like when we go there, it's just
Right.
like just so cool. Like I don't know. I think social media gets a bad rep, but the connections.
Yeah.
It's cool to be connected to people all over
Oh
the
yeah,
world.
I mean it has just as many pitfalls as it has advantages for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Just gotta stay
two
positive.
sides. Yeah, stay positive. So you don't like TikTok. You don't want to. You're
Yeah,
just-
I think it's a little toxic.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I feel addicted to TikTok when
Yeah.
I watch it. I'm like, is it their algorithm? I think it's just like the videos that people watch the longest.
yeah.
And I don't really like to create like be like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna create the most addictive video ever.
Uh-huh.
Like that's not really my goal.
Huh. I find that like I'm watching things I normally wouldn't gravitate towards. Like
Yeah,
there's like a
that's true.
steady stream of like videos, like cat videos, like TikTok knows
Yeah.
I love cat videos or whatever. But then there's like really fucking odd things that they keep showing me because I'm like, I watched this one guy who made this really cringy song and he's like slightly autistic,
Yeah.
or and he like it's a really creative song. It's not good, but it's like kind of cringy good in that kind of way. And so I watched it and went down a rabbit hole one night.
I know. I
And
go
now
down
it just
rabbit
shows
holes.
me that guy all the time, and I can't
Oh my
stop
god, that's
watching.
so funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's like me. Like I'll go through a TikTok rabbit hole of like one day
Yeah.
I'll watch like this girl with Tourette's, and then I'm watching all these people with Tourette's.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's like YouTube kind of like how you go into
Yeah.
rabbit holes, like, but it's way easier to go into a rabbit hole there, like because they're so short.
Yep.
And then there's like babies like with disorders that I'll watch. Like,
It definitely has
But, I
fucked
mean,
up my attention span. Though.
yeah, I think I don't really use TikTok that often, honestly. I usually use it like when I want to do something mindless or I'm like stressed and need something like completely to take my mind off. But I'm glad I like don't use it that much because I could get like whenever I do use it, I'm on it for way longer than I intended to.
Yeah.
It's like crazy like
The
that.
thing is, I feel like if I feel the need to take my phone and pull up TikTok when I start brushing my teeth at night, then it's probably too much.
Yeah, that's
know what
when
I
you
mean?
were like,
See,
maybe I need to.
I know
put
that sometimes
restrictions
like with
on it.
Instagram I'll do that, but that usually like I don't have my notifications on, so it almost makes me check them more, especially if I'm like having a conversation, which like I'm usually having a conversation with several people.
Yeah.
So I think I do that with Instagram. Sometimes it's like checking your
can't do
text.
that. Yeah.
I know.
Even text, I'm just like,
I know.
I have a hard time keeping up with
Yeah.
WhatsApp or texting or
too.
emails or this. I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty busy normally.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, that's the thing. Like at work, like I don't. But today, like
Yeah.
this week is like the last week of school, so we have like no patience because no one
yeah.
wants to take their kids out of school. So I'm just sitting there for like hours, and I'm like, well, at least I have this to do because what would
Yeah.
I be doing? I'm so bored.
we should do an exercise right now. Pull up your screen.
Oh God,
time.
mine's
wanna
gonna be
see
so bad.
Everybody needs to pull up their
Well,
screen
this
time.
isn't fair because we were just traveling.
What do you mean you're
What
just
do you
traveling?
mean?
What does that even
We were
mean?
just
So was
traveling,
I.
So I was on a plane and
Mine's-
I had the
I
video
was
on.
too. I
Right,
was
but
too.
also let me just say that when you like I'll watch YouTube to go to bed, and that counts as screen time, even though I'm not even watching it, or podcasts.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, and music counts as screen time.
Yeah.
So I'm not like literally on my screen this long, but I'm just afraid
Yeah.
already.
Okay, so what was your screen time from Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Did you just pick like the lowest day?
No, it's not. What's your daily average?
My daily average is I'm up 20% this week.
Okay.
It's 10 hours.
Oh my God.
What's yours?
Jesus Christ. Mine's 6 hours
Mine-
and 16 minutes.
Okay, mine usually is around 8, but this week it was a lot.
Damn, that's like a
Mine's-
day job.
Mine's 5 hours,
Well,
51 minutes.
That's not that much
hours.
more than you guys when this is my second job. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I
I will
suppose.
literally spend like 3 hours like making
8
my content
hours.
for the week.
Fuck.
But
man.
it's like it varies day to day a
Yeah.
lot.
But the thing is, my most used 3 hours and 50 minutes is Netflix
Right.
for my week.
Yeah.
And
Let's see.
then the news.
TikTok is definitely the most used
Really?
app.
See,
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
Mine's not. It's
Mine's Instagram, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
TikTok's
What is that
my
at?
seventh most.
Under your it'll tell you like
Oh
for
my-
TikTok for me it's 1 hour and 12
Mine,
minutes.
it's wait, where does it say like the?
You have to go
I have to
under-
go to the day. Hold on.
You have to go to like see all activity under daily average. I'm on TikTok a lot. I love it. But like it'll say like Spotify is my second most used app today.
I think show up. It says today I was on Instagram for 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. But everything else I wasn't on very much.
Today I was
Like
on TikTok
entertainment,
for
50.
3 minutes.
I wasn't on TikTok. I don't use TikTok.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, like I don't use like Instagram like an average person. Like I'm not just scrolling through Instagram, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
I'm literally like I'm like intentional. I'm very intentional about what I'm doing. So it is like a job, which
Right.
it's not as mindless like
Yeah.
as,
Do you ever see yourself not doing the Instagram thing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
maybe
I
there's a
think
time when
I'm
you
gonna.
wanna, like,
So I
retire
think
from it?
like it's super important to be consistent when you're first starting. But I'm at the point where I can start taking more breaks now. So I think that it's crazy because Instagram, like if you take a break for 3 days, it will punish you. Like it's just crazy. Like it won't show your stuff to people as much. So you really like the algorithm values consistency over everything. So sometimes I'll just like post something that's not even good that just to post something. So I think that is.
I mean,
what?
It's all good.
No, I posted stuff like that's like a 2-second clip before just to like post
for
something.
reels.
Yeah,
right.
I don't do it that often, but
yeah, but for reels you can kind of like post reels just for anyone and then push them into your reels screen and not put them on.
I think it's a little toxic. Like I think I put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm like I want to grow as fast as possible. And I'm like I don't need to. Like at this point, I think I'm finally have something that's like what's the word? Established, I guess. So at this point, I do think I'm going to start like taking a step back now that I'm like at 30K. I think people like accounts kind of like have levels, like 0 to 10K is all the same level. Then like 10 to 50, I would say is all the same level. And then 50 to 100. So yeah, I don't really need like more than I have right now for what I'm trying to do. So I like, but you have to be consistent to get to that point.
Gotcha.
But also, I'm also just like, I don't know. I put a lot of pressure on myself about everything. So I'm like, I want to do it like the best that I can, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I need to work on like when I have time to rest. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I feel like I should. No. Yeah. But I've always been like that. Like,
you're right.
I don't really know like how to rest.
Yeah. You still read a lot though, right?
I not like as much as I used to, but I do read like more than the average person still.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not $50 a year.
Huh?
Not $50.
What do you mean?
Yeah, didn't you do 50 books last
year?
Oh,
I did 50 books in 2020.
Yeah. Oh, 2020. Right.
Last year I did 25. I'm probably on track for like 20 this year. So gotcha. It's less.
So 5 less each year.
But it's still more than the average person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I do want to start reading more because that's like, yeah.
Does TikTok count?
But yeah, I just sometimes I'm like, what am I like? I don't know. What do people do to relax? Like relaxing for me is like going on these trips and hikes and stuff. Like,
oh, that sounds super relaxing.
It is though. Yeah. I don't know.
There's stressful parts of it.
Yeah, but for everything there is.
Yeah. Whenever I travel a lot, like May's been pretty crazy for me. I'm ready for a weekend where I can just
well, that's like I had a trip this weekend and it got canceled, and then my friend and I like found this other hotel in Silverthorne to do like a collaboration with, and then I like ended up being like I don't really want to go. Like I just need to rest.
There was this guy that explained it really well on TikTok, just like perfectly. He's like, those weekends where you like go on a trip and you do this and then that, and then there's this weekends where you just don't do anything and you stay at home and you like fuck around and do. He's like, doesn't those weekends seem more like weekends to you? Right. He's like, I had one of those weekends this past weekend and it was really nice.
I know. I think like also like having a full-time job and doing this is just a lot. Like I'm always like my brain is always like on working. So yeah, I'm excited for the 4-day weekend because I'm gonna like just chill and not do anything.
It's a good little reset.
But like I just get bored easily. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, because a lot of people relax by watching movies or TV shows.
I don't really.
Like, I do that. That's usually how I relax.
Or video games.
Yeah. I like video games.
And if Sarah watches a TV show, she's like also on Instagram or something.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I've never really liked TV though. I just like I like reading better. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to each their own.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
sometimes I do like some shows. Like I like reality shows.
Yeah.
Like
I'll probably watch the new season of Bling Empire this weekend. That's
that's pretty good. I watched that. Yeah. I haven't watched it.
They came out with this new season. I put one episode on, and Miles was like, "What are you watching?"
Dude, it's fun. It's
just show. Like that's like my comfort. Like mindless.
That one's rough. I don't know. I don't mind some of the others.
It makes me uncomfortable. Like the old lady, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like in the same way like Kardashians are cringy. That show's kind of very cringy, where you're watching these people and you're like, these are people so far removed from like normal people society, and it's fascinating the way they react, and obviously a lot of it's produced.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, you're going to say this and you're going to go do this.
Yeah.
And then you get to like wonder like, okay, how much of it is produced?
Well,
Like,
it's why you wonder why reality shows have writers.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
ever hear about someone
Yeah.
being a writer?
Well,
of a
there was
reality
like one
show?
show,
Like, what?
I think it was The Hills, where at the end of the season, like the end of the 8 seasons or whatever it was, like
Mhm.
they pulled back the camera and like showed a set.
yeah, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa. Like
It's like
that,
really controversial for the
that
time.
Netflix show, The Ultimatum,
Oh,
is
I haven't
100%
watched it.
produced.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
they, the premise, right?
I don't.
Where like,
Wait.
Yeah, we
Oh,
watched
the Mary one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
yeah.
Actually, I watched.
So,
It.
I was listening to one of them was on a podcast, and he was talking about how even before they started shooting, they were like, okay, so you're going to be the one that issues the ultimatum. She's going to react this way.
Yeah.
You're going to do this. And then this is how it's going to play out for the rest of the show. And they were like, okay. And then you're basically playing a role.
Yeah.
And it's all fake.
That's crazy.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think that's you know how there's FTC guidelines or regulations on like influencers. You have to tell someone that you're advertising a product when
Right.
you're advertising it. I feel like reality shows should have to
I
tell
know,
you
right? Yeah.
when
Like
it's
a
not-
disclaimer
when
up
it's
front.
not reality.
Yeah.
Like we're not claiming to be a reality
I
show, but
know.
things.
Oh,
on
you know
this
what?
may
Maybe
seem-
I'll watch Below Deck. Didn't you guys tell me about
Below
that? I
Deck-
should watch that. Yeah.
So I started watching that. It's a great show if you're into like reality TV, and because it does scratch that itch very well. So they have like a version called Below Deck Mediterranean, which is just like the same show in the Med.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, sorry, it's Hulu or
Okay.
Peacock.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And one season we're watching a Mediterranean, and it was like the perfectly played out drama, and you're like, this is so juicy not to be fake, like
Yeah.
or not to be. It's
Scripted.
yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
fake, or else like nothing like this. It was like the perfect high school drama, like setup scenario story, like punchline, boom. And it was just like, there's no way this isn't fake,
Yeah.
but they do such a good job of like hiding the like, the strategy or the plot basically. And
I need to watch it this weekend. That's
yeah,
all I'll
it's
do.
good. Yeah, I like the Mediterranean a lot because it does. Sometimes you're like, I wish he did this, or I wish he did that, and like in this Mediterranean that there's a lot more writing involved,
Yeah.
and like how things are gonna roll
Interesting.
out. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna do this, okay, then you're gonna cheat on this person, and then you're gonna go out to dinner on the off day, and then you're going to fight with this person, and then you're gonna go back
So
and sleep with this
crazy.
person.
Well, it's annoying when you see there will be a scene where two people are sitting on a bed and they're talking, and mid sentence, like they're saying the same thing, there hasn't been a pause. The camera changes
Mhm.
and they're in a different position.
Yeah.
Or something has changed in the scene, right?
Yeah.
They're like they did multiple takes
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
this.
And that's because reality isn't that
Right.
interesting.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
So like you gotta fake some stuff, and that's why
Yeah.
like, what's that Netflix show that was really Love Is Blind,
Mhm.
and you notice that on Love Is Blind all the cups are the opaque, they're not clear, and that's so they can cut and edit the
Oh, I
show
did not notice
and
that.
not show the different levels of liquid in the cup. It's really
Wow.
really smart the way they did it. Yeah.
I never would have noticed that, but
I
I'm sure
wondered
some
about it.
people would.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And like even this week I was at Denver Biscuit Company shooting a video with them, and we were trying to be strategic about the daylight coming in. Daylight's perfect at this location, big windows. It provided key light that was fantastic on shooting anything from the drinks to the food to the people, and we had to be strategic about where we put the interviewers or interviewees, and because we were doing 2 at a time, and then another like 2 people basically, and so we were going to cut it together and make it look like they were all 4 of them together. So we had to be strategic about where we put them, the lighting that was used. It had to be like make sure, because it was like in the afternoon, so the daylight changes, and we had to bring in all this lighting to create artificial lighting, and that's done on these other sets. Like you would be surprised at how much lighting is brought in to
Yeah.
like make things look
Makes
as
sense.
good as possible.
Yeah.
When it's like when you watch it, you're like, oh, they just brought a camera in on to the Stanley
Right.
Marketplace location. And
Yeah.
so it's a whole ordeal to make things look as real as
Yeah,
possible.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, even Instagram, like,
Yeah.
like it's a lot of like, finding the best angles and finding, it's
Yeah.
just like, it's a lot more than people realize that goes into it. That's why a lot of brands like don't like when they're not willing to pay for it, they don't know what goes into it. Like, it's not like we just snap a quick picture and move on. Like,
My
there's
favorite,
a lot that goes into it.
my favorite with influencers is like, because I get a lot of travel influencers now on some of the like, 'cause from liking your videos and stuff. Like, it's a lot.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
But I'll see some where the couples are like at the airport and they're like doing this like, oh my, we're so excited. I was like, nobody fucking does that when they're traveling in an airport. Shut the fuck up. Like, you're so fake.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what was the product they were promoting? It was like, basically you like show up to the airport and like you don't know where you're going.
Oh yeah.
And then you open up the envelope and like, oh, we're going to Chicago,
right,
and then here's our itinerary, and you open this on day one, and they were like, look where we go to Chicago. Oh my god. I'm like, oh my god, gag me with a spoon.
I
Like,
hate
That's so funny.
filming
Yeah,
in public.
Yeah, but
Like
also like, yeah, I feel like we never want to be like those people who are like fighting and then all of a sudden we're like, we
for the
try to like
camera.
keep it like natural as possible.
Yeah, you guys do a pretty good job at doing that.
Because like, yeah, I just feel I don't want to be performative. Like, that's weird.
That's
and
that's
also,
a great word
that's
to use.
not
yeah.
like
It's
really
all
like I'm not
performative.
really good at performing either. Like,
True.
I just feel like that feels gross to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, even
so.
when we
Well, you don't want to be fake. That's
Yeah,
the whole thing.
exactly,
Is like
exactly.
that's not what
because
you
we
wanna
were
do.
we were doing this stuff long before Instagram, and
Mm-hmm.
we've always liked to take pictures. Like, even on our honeymoon, we had like our little phone tripod and stuff. So like, I don't know, it's something
I
I want to
remember
make
when-
it like attainable for.
I remember when we were at L5 and you were telling us about how you're gonna really start like diving into this, and the one thing I said to you was like, just be yourself.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
don't become
Yeah,
some
yeah.
other person
Right,
just
right,
because
right.
you
Yeah.
wanted to you know
I think people
sell
can
basically
see
sell
that.
out. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And that's what these people are doing. They're kind of selling out a little
we
bit.
will now, like, if we're shooting for something that we know we're gonna post, like, there's a difference when like no one's gonna see it and thousands of
Yeah.
people are gonna see it. Like, we will
Totally.
retake it like sometimes if it's on, but I think that's different. Like,
Yeah.
we're not like, I'm so happy, like, we're just like retake.
Yeah, take hundreds
Yeah.
of takes and pick
like
the best one.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
totally.
I've still made videos from our videos that like we had on old iPhone 6. Like, I think
Yeah.
my reel that I made from our Yosemite footage on an iPhone 6 got 1 million views.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so it's like you don't need to do that.
Yeah,
And
it's not about
that's-
the quality. It's about like
Yeah.
the setting and the
right,
content
right.
itself,
And
yeah.
at this point, like, people like the real.
Even when we advertised the group trip thing, we were in the car. We just took a video.
I
We took a
posted the
bunch
one
of
that I
videos.
messed up on.
Yeah. And it was like there was nothing where we were like, "Hey guys."
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Because it's so awkward feeling when you do that, and you really have to practice it to get
Yeah.
really good at it and
Yeah.
make it seem like authentic. Some people are really good at it, but we just
Yeah.
spoke
And
to the
I'm always
camera.
like, I always like self-assess. Like, I'm always like, at the end of every trip, I'm like, okay, did we have fun? Like, did we enjoy this? Like, did creating content take away from us enjoying it? Like, I always ask him, like, at the end of every trip.
Yeah.
And like, I think it says a lot that like the Utah trip was our favorite, because that's probably when we created like the most content we've ever created on a trip. So like, obviously we enjoy it. So I just want to enjoy it. I don't ever want to like lose that. So I think like I'm like hyper aware of that. So I'm always like,
Yeah.
did you have fun?
Yeah. No, it's good because
Yeah.
that self-awareness is what's going to keep you in check.
Yeah, for
And that-
sure.
and
Because I
that's-
think you can lose that as you grow bigger.
Totally.
too.
And I feel like that's a lot. You hear that a lot when people who are famous or whatever like give out advice to other people. They're
Yeah.
always like, be yourself, because like being yourself and bringing that uniqueness to
Right.
your whatever you're publishing or putting out there is what's going to make people interested. Because if you just
Yeah.
become something else, or you become just another clone of this
Yeah.
person, then why would they want to listen to you? They can just go listen to that other person.
Right.
And now you don't have this like niche of being yourself and doing all this other stuff. And
Yeah, and I think people relate to it more.
Totally,
too.
yeah.
So there's that.
Because they
Like, we're just-
recognize,
yeah.
just like I was talking about the people who opened up that thing and they found out they're going to Chicago. Like, you know when you're being fake,
Yeah.
like, or you know when other people are being
Right,
fake, and you can
right.
pick up. Like, we're all human. Like,
Yeah.
we all have hundreds of social interactions every
Yeah.
week or every month, right? And so like, as you get older, you almost become an expert in like human interaction. So when you see that fake stuff on Instagram or TikTok,
Yeah.
your bullshit radar goes off.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like I never want to like put creating content over like us enjoying our traveling, because like why else would we do it? You know?
Right, yeah.
Like, so I do think there's people out there that do that, but I think there's people out there that don't too.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely something that you have to think about consciously, or like you'll just fall into that. You know?
When Janie shows me a funny or entertaining or thoughtful, thought-provoking TikTok or whatever, and I know it's fake, I completely, totally write it off.
Yeah.
I don't like. If I pick up that it's bullshit in the first 2 seconds, I immediately lose interest. And
Right.
it could be something that's cool.
Yeah.
And like worth watching.
Yeah.
But since I've completely, I just write it off. I'm like, I'm not interested.
Right.
I'm not interested in that. Like, just keep going. Like,
Yeah.
we have this habit of like every other day, I'll like, hey, I want to here. I saved some TikToks.
Yeah.
Today. We'll sit down.
It's funny
and watch,
because
show each
Miles
other
will do that,
TikToks.
but I'll be like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I always turn him down. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
No,
a,
I
poor
watch
guy.
them sometimes, but it's just too much.
yeah.
it is.
We've,
Yeah.
We've tried doing this kind of like performance before, not in our normal feed, but there was a brand who wanted
Oh my God,
for an
yeah.
ad.
Oh, they're like, hey, we want you to
freaking
do
hated
this,
it.
and
Yeah.
we want you
Right.
to say that.
We realized
Yeah.
that we hated
You
it.
never have a conversation ever with someone where you're like, I love this shirt.
Yeah.
I love it's made of cotton. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have to say certain things. You're
Yeah.
expressing
You have to hit
what
the
Yeah,
touch
we
points.
both
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we were both like we are not having fun. We
Yeah,
will
so
never
we
do
tri-
this again.
we
But
tried
we
doing
didn't
it.
know how we would feel about it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we realized that that's not what we ever want to do again.
Yeah, so now if a brand asks us to do something
We're
like
gonna
that,
say we
we
don't
just
do
say
that.
no, or we can create a video for you for an ad, but it will be in this style.
Yeah,
Right.
And that's one of the best things, and a lot of brands actually
give us a lot of creative
yeah,
freedom.
they
yeah.
won't even, you don't even have to ask for it. They'll say, please just make sure that you follow these guidelines, but it's in your own creative way.
Yeah.
Because if you post something and your followers know that's not something that's you would normally post, they'll know it's fake.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of brands want you to do unboxing videos.
Yeah.
And like we will not do those. Like
Yeah.
I'm like I'm
This is
not
not our
doing
style.
that.
All right,
Like-
guys. So
Yeah.
Athletic Greens sent us this,
Right.
and we're gonna do an unboxing
Yeah,
today.
like-
Oh, great box! Look
Yeah.
how it opened.
Right.
like,
Like
who gives a
yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I do like Athletic Greens. I don't know
Yeah.
if it does anything
Right.
to my digestion, to how I feel every day.
But it tastes pretty good.
I don't
You
know
like
if
it
it
in your
tastes good, but
smoothie.
I have been putting in my smoothie for like the last 3 months, and I don't know what I'm gonna do when it runs out.
So how much did Athletic Greens pay you to say that today, Miles?
We didn't even post about them actually, which is funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
They got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
I've
should
heard
post
it's a good.
about it
I heard
'cause,
it's a good
yeah.
product. Yeah. I'm not, trying to dish out.
But the thing is, it's about like I don't know if it's meal supplement, but it's like vitamins,
Yeah.
and stuff, right?
yeah,
so
it's like vitamins and greens.
Yeah,
and
so it
things
has
like
different
I
nutrients
just can't
in
be
it.
that consistent. Like I did it for like a few days and I forgot.
that. Yeah.
I
right.
imagine that it's good for you.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I'm sure it
but
doesn't
I
hurt.
can't tell anyone like I feel better.
Yeah.
I know some people have said that,
Mhm.
and honestly, I don't know if I believe that
Yeah.
because I feel no different.
and like them sending you stuff with like no strings attached, like they're hoping that this happens, which is like you try it, you're like,
yeah.
I actually fucking love this stuff,
Right. And then you
like,
post about it.
yeah, and then you're like, wow, like I need to let people know about this.
Yeah.
Um,
Like we actually did that with like these Greek yogurt bars that we were sent. Like we
Mm-hmm.
were obsessed with them and like we ate them every single night. So I posted a story like just saying like we ate them every single night because we
Right.
did and we genuinely liked them. So
yeah,
yeah.
And there's other instances if we organically come across a product.
Oh,
like one
yeah.
time Sarah found these. They're like
Granola.
granola.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not granola bars, but just granola in a packet. And loved them. They're really clean ingredients, so she just tagged them in a story, and then they sent us a bunch more.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Huh.
But
like
it's
that.
cool, like when you, because now like I might reach out to them like about a partnership just because I know that I love it, and like it's just like when it's like organic like that,
but it's also
better. Like I don't want to promote something that like I never would use or buy, you know?
right.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between that and actually not liking something, and it's actually illegal to do that. Like you can't.
What?
Yeah, you can't. It's against the FTC
Oh, really?
regulation to post about something in a favorable way if you actually didn't feel that way about
Don't
it.
lie.
Yeah.
Basically.
So you can't. I can say something like, "I loved the taste of athletic greens" if I
Yeah.
didn't love the taste of it.
Yeah. Right.
And so, I mean, that's not why we don't do that, but it's. I mean, that there is that part of it, and then
Yeah.
there's the part where like, why would we want to advertise something that our followers might get? And then they're going to be like, this tastes like dog shit.
Yeah.
And then they don't trust us anymore.
Right.
We lose followers that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And people talk. So it's definitely, we have a post coming out. It'll be out at this point when this gets posted, I think. But it's for Superfeet, the brand Superfeet. And it's or like an orthotic kind of, or an insole for your shoe. And we shot some content for it, and then we said we actually have to try these out now because we can't just post and not try these out. What if they're
Right.
horrible? They hurt
Right.
our feet or something.
Yeah.
So luckily they worked.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good.
yeah.
Shoot. Well, we're almost at the 2-hour mark.
Wow. Yeah.
Time flies. Thanks for coming on again.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Fine.
Season 2.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride home.
You're driving.
One thing I do want to tell everybody is we have another podcast coming out next week.
Oh,
Next week being June 1st. So by the time this episode is published, it will already be out. And Sarah and Miles are both a part of that project as well. It is called Original Kin. It is a audio drama, a full-length feature audio drama. It's a 50-minute chapter 1, so it's a series, but we worked really hard over the last 2 years, myself and Cole Gosley.
Wow. It's been 2 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been a
so
long
crazy.
time. Yeah. So we're
Excited.
really, really proud of it. We got a whole cast put together of actors, voice actors, and just poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, and we're really proud of it. So I hope everybody listening gives that a listen, and you can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast. Also, if you like it, give us a thumbs up. OriginalKinPodcast.com. And then, of course, Instagram. Where can people reach you guys for all your travel itineraries and cool photos?
So at Adventuring Eyes and adventuringeyes.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, on that note, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until next time, adios.